They tell you anger is dangerous because it explodes. But no one warns you about hatred, because hatred doesn't explode, it waits. Anger screams, slams doors, and burns out fast. Hatred stays quiet, smiles politely, and plans patiently. If anger is a fire you can see coming, hatred is the poison already in your system. And the Stoics understood this better than anyone. They used to say anger is loud, but hatred is silent. It doesn't shout. It doesn't confront you openly. It watches. It waits. It doesn't want to hurt you once. It wants to erase you slowly, piece by piece, over time. Anger is a fire. It flares up, it burns hot, and eventually it fades. Hatred, on the other hand, is poison. It lingers. It spreads quietly. You may not feel it at first, but it works from the inside, long after the moment has passed. And this is why hatred is far more dangerous than anger. So today, we're going to talk about the true signs of real hatred. Not the obvious kind, not the dramatic kind, but the subtle, patient, deeply destructive kind that hides behind calm faces and quiet words. And before we go deeper, let me say this. If you've ever felt surrounded by negativity, if you've ever sensed that some people secretly resent your growth, your discipline, or your peace, if certain relationships leave you drained, confused, or constantly doubting yourself, remember this: you don't have to walk that path alone. That's exactly why I created a private Patreon community, a space for people who want to grow stronger mentally and spiritually through Stoic philosophy. Not just listening to wisdom, but learning how to live it inside. I offer one-on-one text guidance, deep reflections, and personal advice. Practical tools you can actually apply in daily life, especially when dealing with hatred, betrayal, or emotional pressure. If you're looking for a circle where wisdom replaces chaos, where strength is built through stillness, not noise, you'll find the link in the description. You don't have to face hate, confusion, or inner conflict alone. Let's grow in peace together now. Let's begin. 1. They never forget your mistakes. This is one of the clearest and most dangerous signs of real hatred. They never forget your mistakes, no matter how much time has passed, no matter how much you've changed, no matter how much good you've done since then. A hateful person keeps a detailed mental archive of every flaw, every slip, every wrong word you've ever said. It's all neatly stored, ready to be pulled out at the exact moment they need it. They won't remember the times you helped them. They won't remember when you supported them or stood by their side. They only remember the moments you failed them, because hatred needs a reason to survive. And when life no longer gives it one, it creates one. A hateful person doesn't want closure. They don't want understanding. They want fuel, so they replay old conflicts in their mind, like movies on repeat, rewriting scenes, exaggerating emotions, adding intention where there was misunderstanding, adding malice where there was confusion. They don't want to heal the wound. They want to keep it open, because the pain gives their hatred purpose. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When someone refuses to forget your mistakes, it's not because they value justice. It's because they value superiority. By keeping you as the wrong one, they get to remain the right one. They cling to your imperfections because they can't face their own. Seneca once said, "No man confers a benefit on another while he is thinking of repayment." In the same way, no one truly forgives while they keep score. Hatred is simply the scoreboard of the ego, tallying every wrong, every flaw, every imperfection. so it never has to confront its own failures. Think about it. You've probably met people like this. People who bring up something you did years ago, right at the moment when you've clearly grown beyond it. You've changed. But to them, you never will, because their hatred isn't aimed at who you are today. It's chained to the version of you that hurt them, disappointed them, or simply threatened their pride. And that's why hatred thrives on time. And this is how hatred stretches time itself. What was once a single moment slowly turns into a lifetime. Days become years. Years feel like decades. And with every year that passes, the memory shifts. It becomes less about what actually happened and more about how it felt. They're no longer remembering reality. They're remembering emotion. And once emotion replaces truth, the loop never ends. The same scene, the same wound, replayed again and again. But this is exactly where Stoicism offers the antidote. A Stoic does not seek revenge through memory. They seek freedom through forgetting. Because the moment you can remember a past mistake, a past conflict, a past version of yourself, without resentment rising in your chest, that is the moment you've already won. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of this every single morning. Simply let it go. The wrong done to you no longer exists. If you allow it to fade, and that is precisely what a hateful person can never do. They live in yesterday. They feed on the past. They believe that remembering your sins somehow protects them from facing their own. As if keeping a record of your flaws gives them moral shelter. If you ever want to see the true depth of someone's character, watch what they choose to remember. The wise remember lessons. The hateful remember injuries. The wise recall what helped them grow stronger. The hateful recall what they might one day use against you. And here's the irony most people miss. This obsession with your past doesn't trap you. It traps them. Because a mind that constantly relives yesterday cannot live peacefully in today. They become prisoners of memory. And hatred becomes their jailer. So when you meet someone who never forgets your mistakes, understand this clearly. They are not searching for truth. They are searching for control. They want to define you by your worst moment, so they never have to face the uncomfortable reality that you have evolved beyond it. And this is what makes hatred far more dangerous than anger. Anger wants to argue. Hatred wants to freeze time. It doesn't just fight who you are. It fights who you are becoming. But a Stoic mind understands something deeply liberating. You are not your past. You are your response to it. And that is the one thing a hateful person can never take from you. Your ability to grow while they remain stuck in yesterday. So let them keep their list. Let them count your flaws. Because while they are busy collecting evidence of who you were, you are busy becoming who they will never be. Free to. They dismiss your success. One of the most revealing signs of real hatred is not loud or obvious. It's subtle. They dismiss your success. When you achieve something meaningful, something that required time, sacrifice, patience, and quiet effort, they don't congratulate you. They minimize it. They make it sound smaller, easier, or undeserved. You'll hear phrases like, "Oh, anyone could have done that. You just got lucky. It's not really a big deal." Notice something important here. They never acknowledge your effort. They explain your success away. Because your achievement isn't just proof of what you've done. It's a mirror reflecting what they haven't. Hatred cannot stand progress, especially when that progress belongs to the person it resents. Because every step forward you take, every improvement, every quiet victory exposes their stagnation, and that is something a hateful person cannot tolerate. A truly hateful person would rather live in denial than admit you've grown. They would rather believe the world is unfair than accept the truth that you worked harder, longer, and more patiently than they did. Their ego cannot handle the idea that someone they dislike might also be someone they should respect. Seneca once said, "He who envies others does not obtain peace." And this is exactly how it plays out. Envy turns into denial. Denial hardens into hatred. They don't just envy your results. They envy the calm, the confidence, the discipline and persistence that created those results. Let me give you a real example. There was a man named Adrian who worked at the same company for 5 years. He started as an intern, barely noticed by anyone. No special treatment, no shortcuts, but he had something most people didn't. Quiet discipline. He arrived early. He learned from his failures instead of complaining about them. He stayed consistent when others lost interest. And while people around him talked, compared, and complained, Adrian simply kept building, silently, patiently, relentlessly. It shrugs. It smirks. It pretends nothing special happened. Adrian didn't talk much. He didn't advertise his effort. He simply worked. Day after day, he showed up. Not loudly, not dramatically, just consistently. And over time, that consistency did what noise never could. It spoke for him. Eventually, he earned a promotion. Not because he played office politics, not because he chased attention, but because his discipline became impossible to ignore. When the news spread, some colleagues congratulated him sincerely. They meant it, but there was one person who didn't. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus smiled faintly, tilted his head, and said, "Guess you were just in the right place at the right time." That sentence may sound casual, but that's hatred hiding behind small talk. Marcus couldn't admit that Adrian deserved the promotion, because doing so would force him to face his own excuses, his own laziness, his own wasted time. So instead of acknowledging effort, he reduced it to luck. And this is how hatred often operates. Quietly, politely, wrapped in sarcasm and half smiles. They won't attack you directly. They'll attack the validity of what you achieved. If you start a business, they'll say, "Everyone's doing that these days." If you get in shape, they'll say, "You probably just have good genetics." If you find love, they'll say, "You got lucky with timing." Every accomplishment becomes something that happened to you, never something you earned. This is where Stoicism gives us clarity. A Stoic doesn't seek validation from others, because a Stoic understands a difficult truth. Most people don't judge you by reality. They judge you through the lens of their own insecurity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth." And the truth is this: hateful people are not reacting to your success. They are reacting to their own sense of failure. They need to belittle you to feel balanced. Because if they truly acknowledged your growth, they would have to confront the parts of themselves that refuse to grow. It's not your success that offends them. It's the reflection of who they could have been if they had tried as hard as you did. And this is the difference between anger and hatred. Anger flares up when you win. Hatred denies that you've won at all. It rewrites the story. It edits the facts, all to protect the ego. So what should you do when people dismiss your success? You stay quiet. You stay humble. and you keep moving. You don't owe anyone your struggle story. You don't need to explain how hard it was. You don't need to justify what you've built to people who would never have believed in you anyway. Stoicism teaches us to remain indifferent to both praise and criticism, because both are outside our control. Your success does not need their validation to be real. It's already real. You lived through the process that created it, so let them downplay it. Let them shrug. Let them pretend it doesn't matter. Because if it truly didn't matter, they wouldn't feel the need to dismiss it. A hateful person's denial is proof that you've grown beyond their understanding. They can't celebrate your light because it reminds them of their shadows. So when they say, "You just got lucky," smile quietly. Luck may open the door, but only discipline keeps it open. And that is a truth a hateful person will never understand. 3. They gossip behind your back. If anger wants to confront you face to face, hatred prefers to whisper when you're not around. It doesn't strike directly. It wounds quietly. Hatred doesn't challenge you openly. It attacks your reputation while pretending its hands are clean. When someone truly hates you, they won't always come at you head-on. That would require courage, and confrontation demands truth. Instead, they choose the coward's weapon. Gossip. Gossip is hatred's favorite disguise. It allows people to harm you while convincing themselves they're just talking. It spreads quietly. It sounds harmless, but it poisons perception, one whisper at a time. And when hatred can no longer deny your progress or dismiss your success, it changes strategy. It begins to whisper. This is how they poison the way others see you without ever appearing openly malicious. It often starts with a sentence that sounds harmless. I don't mean to talk badly about them, but... And what follows is always venom. The Stoics recognize gossip as one of the lowest expressions of human weakness. Epictetus warned that the higher you rise, the more small minds will try to pull you back down with their words. He said, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, because the moment you rise above petty people, their mouths become their weapons. A hateful person gossips not because they truly know you, but because they want to control how you are perceived. They cannot destroy your truth, so they distort it. They cannot defeat your presence, so they attempt to dominate your absence behind closed doors. They twist your words, exaggerate your flaws, and fill in every unknown detail with assumptions. They feed their version of you to anyone willing to listen. And what makes gossip especially dangerous is that it doesn't sound like hatred. It sounds like concern. I just feel like they've changed. Lately, I heard they're not who they seem. I don't know. Something about them feels off. This is psychological warfare disguised as casual conversation. A slow, steady drip of poison designed to turn admiration into doubt. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Most hateful people don't actually want you destroyed. They want you misunderstood. Because once others begin to doubt your integrity, your voice loses strength. And that is how hatred wins. Not through confrontation, not through violence, but through erosion, the erosion of reputation. Let me give you an example. There was a woman named Clara. She worked quietly. She never bothered anyone. She wasn't loud. She wasn't arrogant. She was simply focused. Her calm presence and strong work ethic led to steady success. And that success, as it often does, attracted silent envy. Over time, she noticed something shift. Her co-workers spoke to her differently. The tone changed. The smiles became tighter, colder. Eventually, she learned the truth. Someone had been whispering behind her back, claiming she had been flirting with the boss to get ahead. It was a lie, but it didn't matter. The damage had already been done. The hateful person never confronted her. They lacked the courage for that. Instead, they chose something far more destructive. They changed how the world saw her, and in doing so, they found the illusion of power they desperately craved. That is the nature of gossip. It does not destroy truth immediately. It corrodes it slowly, like rust eating away at iron dot. It spreads quietly, weakening the structure from the inside. A Stoic, however, understands something crucial: reputation. While valuable, is ultimately outside of our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it." In other words, people can talk, but your reaction decides whether their words carry weight. The best response to gossip is not confrontation. It is excellence. Continue to do what they said you couldn't. Continue to act with integrity. Continue to move forward in silence, because gossip only has power when it finds an audience. The higher you rise, the smaller their whispers sound. The more peace you project, the more obvious their bitterness becomes. Understand this clearly. Gossip is never truly about you. It is about them, their insecurities, their unhealed failures, their quiet jealousy. Your success disrupts their comfort. Your composure exposes their chaos. Your light reveals their shadows. And when they cannot compete with you, they talk about you instead. And this is why gossip never truly stops. Because your silence feels like superiority to those who refuse to grow. They gossip because it's the only way they can feel taller without ever having to rise. But here is the irony they never see. Every time they talk about you, they give you power. They spread your name. They confirm your presence. They keep your story alive without realizing it. You've already become the main character in a story they secretly wish they were. Part of dot, so don't defend yourself to people who choose to believe gossip. Let their ears become the mirror of their own shallowness. As Epictetus reminded us, when a person is truly grounded in life, they no longer need to look outside themselves for approval. Let them talk, because while they whisper in circles, you move in silence, building things they can only discuss. And that is what truly weakens hatred. When your peace grows louder than their poison, the game is already over in the end. Gossip always reveals more about the speaker than the one being spoken about. Hatred may whisper behind your back, but truth walks beside you, calm, unbothered, and unshaken. For they secretly celebrate your failures. One of the darkest and most revealing signs of real hatred is this: they secretly celebrate when you fail. They don't throw a party, they don't clap, but you feel it. That faint smirk, that delayed, that's unfortunate. That strange calmness they show when something goes wrong in your life. Hatred doesn't always roar. Sometimes it watches quietly and enjoys the show. Anger lashes out. It's loud, impulsive, and often gone by tomorrow. But hatred waits. It lurks in the background, feeding on envy and resentment. Until it finds pleasure in your pain. It doesn't want to destroy you quickly. It wants to see you stumble slowly, just enough for them to feel superior again. That is what makes hatred far more dangerous than anger. It hides. It disguises itself. It wears the mask of politeness while quietly wishing for your downfall. Let's imagine a familiar scenario. You've been building something. A business. A better version of yourself. You've been consistent, disciplined, quietly rising. People start noticing. Compliments come. Opportunities follow. And suddenly, one of your friends grows distant. The person who used to text you every day now takes hours to reply. The one who once cheered you on now watches in silence. Then life tests you. A deal falls through. A client leaves. A setback appears. And that same person suddenly reappears, saying, "Yeah, I had a feeling that would happen." That phrase sounds harmless, but it isn't. It's venom wrapped in subtlety. It's not concern. It's satisfaction. They're not warning you. They're celebrating the accuracy of a private wish they never admitted out loud. They didn't want to see you succeed, because your success exposed their lack of progress. And here's the truth that sets you free. Hatred is never really about you. It's about them. It's born from comparison, from the discomfort of seeing your light make their darkness more visible. When you win, it feels like a personal insult to their ego. When you fail, they finally feel at peace. That is why they crave your failure, not because they truly want you to suffer, but because it temporarily silences their own insecurity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When someone is consumed by hatred, their thoughts rot with resentment. They cannot enjoy their own life, so they try to find pleasure in the cracks of yours. And that is the real tragedy of hatred. It is a poison that destroys the vessel. It lives in long before it ever reaches its target. And if you watch closely, you'll see hatred revealed not in words, but in behavior. They never reach out when you succeed. No message, no congratulations, but the moment you fail, they suddenly reappear. They act sympathetic, their face looks concerned. Their words sound polite, yet something feels off. There's a faint taste of satisfaction in their tone, as if your misstep brought them quiet relief. Sometimes, they'll even spread your failures behind your back, not to help you, but to feel powerful, as if your mistake gives them moral superiority. You'll notice it in their timing too. They are silent when you rise, and loud when you fall. They'll say things like, "I was just worried about you," or "Maybe you were moving too fast." But these are not words of support. They are covert celebrations in Stoic philosophy. Hatred is seen as one of the lowest forms of weakness. Seneca wrote that anger is a temporary madness, but hatred is chronic madness, a disease of the spirit that slowly erodes. Empathy, when someone secretly celebrates your failures, they expose their own inner decay. They lose the ability to appreciate truth, growth, and beauty, because all of those things remind them of what they lack. So what is the Stoic response? Do not hate them back. Do not try to prove them wrong. Do not rub your success in their face. That only feeds their sickness. Instead, remain calm. Let your resilience speak for you. Let your peace embarrass their bitterness, because nothing destroys hatred faster than watching you rise again without rage, without revenge, and without needing their approval. Remember this: when someone rejoices in your pain, they have already lost something. You still have your inner peace. They have only their resentment. Their hatred consumes them quietly, while your strength continues to multiply. So if you ever notice someone smiling when you suffer, or going silent when you win, pay attention. They are revealing what truly lives in their heart. And in that moment, be grateful. because their reaction is your revelation. Real hatred does not only reveal your enemies, it reveals your growth, your progress, and your ability to remain calm in a world that secretly wants to see you fall. 5. They pretend you don't exist. One of the coldest and most painful signs of real hatred is silence, not confrontation, not argument, not even closure, just erasure. This is not the silence of peace. It is the silence of punishment. It's their way of saying, "You are not even worth my attention." And that is what makes it so. Cruel. Human beings are wired to crave acknowledgement. Even anger feels more human than indifference. But hatred goes deeper than anger. It doesn't want to fight you. It wants to erase you. People who hate in this way use invisibility as a weapon. They walk past you without a glance. They act as if your achievements never happened. They conveniently forget your name when giving credit. They pretend your presence doesn't change the energy in a room, even though you both know it does. This behavior is psychological warfare disguised as maturity. The Stoics understood this dynamic well. Epictetus taught that you cannot control what others say or do, only how you respond. And when someone chooses to pretend you don't exist, the Stoic response is not to beg for attention or chase validation. It is to become more self-sufficient, to master the art of being content with your own existence, because nothing disarms hatred more completely than quiet self-respect. Now, let's make this real. Imagine someone who was once close to you, a friend who knew your struggles, your dreams, your flaws. Over time, you began to grow. You changed. You rose above patterns they could not escape. Instead of growing with you, they grew bitter after understanding how silence and gossip quietly damaged your image. We now see another form of hatred, colder, subtler, and more calculated, intentional erasure. They stop responding to your messages. They ignore your achievements. And when you walk into a room, their eyes pass through you as if you were nothing but air. No goodbye, no explanation, just disappearance. That is what hatred looks like when it's too proud to speak. It doesn't attack. It deletes. It feels like being ghosted, but not out of disinterest, out of disdain. Silence becomes the weapon. Ignoring you becomes their way of asserting dominance. They believe that by refusing to acknowledge you, they gain control. But here's the irony. The very effort it takes to pretend you don't exist proves the opposite. You still exist, strongly, vividly, uncomfortably. When someone hates you, what they truly can't tolerate is that you still have peace without their validation. Your existence irritates their sense of importance. They want you to crave their attention, to break, to chase, to explain yourself. That's how they feed their ego. And the moment you don't, when you remain calm, detached, and focused on your own path, their power begins to dissolve. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." When someone tries to erase you, don't respond with bitterness. Don't waste your time proving your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Keep walking forward with quiet dignity. That is the Stoic way, not to retaliate, but to transcend. The truth is, pretending someone doesn't exist is not strength. It's weakness disguised as arrogance. It's the behavior of someone too emotionally fragile to handle your presence. People who are truly at peace don't need to erase anyone. They can coexist without conflict. Only those who feel secretly threatened by you need to pretend you're invisible. The danger of this kind of hatred is that it's covert. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It seeps into interactions through avoidance, cold politeness, and selective silence. But make no mistake, this is still hatred, simply wearing the mask of emotional control. The Stoic lesson here is clear. When people pretend you don't exist, don't internalize it. Their silence does not define your worth. It reveals their emptiness. The world has over 8 billion people. One person's refusal to acknowledge you cannot erase your existence. Their ignorance doesn't make you invisible. It only exposes their blindness. So hold your composure. Continue your path. Let your presence be your statement. Because the most powerful response to being erased is to live in such a way that your existence speaks louder than their silence ever could. And remember this, real hatred doesn't always shout. Sometimes it looks away, hoping you'll disappear. But if you remain calm, grounded, and present, they'll eventually realize the truth. You were never the one who disappeared. They were .e6. They imitate you out of spite. This may surprise you, but one of the most twisted signs of real hatred isn't rejection or mockery. It's imitation. Yes, when someone begins copying you, not because they admire you, but because they can't stand that you were the one who did it first. At first glance, imitation looks like flattery. We've all heard the saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But that's only true when it comes from admiration. When it comes from hatred, imitation becomes warfare. It's not about appreciating who you are. It's about stealing your identity. It's their way of saying, if I become like you, maybe I can destroy what makes you special. Hatred often hides beneath envy. After realizing that some people choose silence to erase you, another even more distorted form of hatred begins to reveal itself. They imitate you out of spite. Envy doesn't truly want what you have. It wants to be you without enduring the effort, the pain, the discipline, or the soul you paid for. And that is what makes it dark. So when someone imitates you out of malice, they aren't doing it to learn. They're doing it to compete. They start dressing like you, speaking like you, posting like you, even adopting your beliefs or ideas. But there is always one clear difference. They never acknowledge you. In fact, they often behave as if they invented everything themselves. They want your light, but they refuse to admit where that light comes from. Imagine a situation that feels uncomfortably real. You decide to start a YouTube channel about Stoicism. You pour your heart, time, and energy into every piece of content. You research, you write, you grow with each video. Then suddenly, someone you know, maybe even someone who was once close, launches a channel that looks eerily similar. The tone, the titles, the thumbnail style, almost identical, yet they never mention you. Worse, they begin acting as if you were copying them. That's not coincidence. That's hostility disguised as inspiration. They aren't trying to honor your influence. They're trying to erase it. Stoic philosophy helps us understand this behavior deeply. Epictetus once said, when you see someone succeed by cheating or pretending, remember that they have chosen a different path than yours. The spiteful imitator chooses the path of illusion. They want to appear as strong, wise, or original as you, without walking through the struggles that shaped you. They don't want your journey. They only want your result. And it goes even darker. Often, they imitate you not just to resemble you, but to outdo you. If you speak calmly, they try to sound even calmer, not because it's natural, but because it makes them feel like they've beaten you at your own game. If you embrace simplicity, they suddenly become minimalist too. Not because they understand the philosophy, but because they want to steal what makes you distinct. Hatred is competitive. It doesn't want to grow, wants to dominate. And imitation becomes a form of psychological warfare, a way to blur your identity and make your uniqueness feel replaceable. But here is the Stoic truth. No one can imitate essence. They can copy your style, your actions, your appearance, but not your soul. The way you think, the way you feel, the authenticity behind what you create. Imitation can replicate form, but it can never touch depth. Seneca once wrote, "No man becomes great by imitation," and the hateful imitator proves this. The more they copy you, the smaller they become, because every act of imitation confirms what they already know, even if they refuse to admit it. You are the original. Still, it hurts. It hurts to see your ideas, your style, or your essence taken by someone who secretly despises you. It feels like theft. And in a way, it is. But the Stoic response is not exposure or retaliation. It is detachment, because imitation, driven by hatred, is actually a twisted compliment. It means your existence is powerful enough to provoke replication. You've become a mirror reflecting their inadequacy. People who hate you yet imitate you are torn between two emotions, envy and denial. They envy your light, but deny their admiration because it wounds their ego. So they quietly take from you, hoping that by copying you, they'll finally silence the inner reminder of what they lack. But they never will. Because imitation, fueled by hatred, doesn't bring peace. It breeds obsession. So if you ever notice someone copying your voice, your habits, your words, or your way of being while avoiding the truth, understand what's happening. They are not becoming you. They are trying to consume the part of you that unsettles them. Don't let it disturb your calm. Let them imitate. Let them perform. Because while they are busy pretending to be you, you are quietly evolving into something greater. The Stoic answer is simple: never compete with the counterfeit. After understanding that spiteful imitation can never touch your essence, there is another form of hatred that is just as silent, yet equally powerful. Remain authentic, grounded, and constantly evolving. Because the more they imitate you out of resentment, the more they unintentionally remind the world and themselves who the true original really is. 7. They talk to everyone except you. One of the most subtle yet deeply revealing signs of real hatred is when someone deliberately talks to everyone except you. They greet the entire room. They laugh with your friends. They make eye contact with everyone else. But when it comes to you, there is silence. Not accidental silence, but calculated silence. This is the language of exclusion, a psychological weapon used by those who lack the courage for direct confrontation. They don't want to argue. They don't want to discuss. They simply want to make you feel invisible. It's their unspoken way of saying, "You don't belong here." At first, it may seem harmless. You might think they're just in a bad mood. Maybe they're tired. But over time, it becomes clear that this avoidance is not random. It's intentional. They want you to notice the silence. They want you to feel the sting of being ignored while they pour their energy into everyone else around you. And here is the truth. This behavior is not about communication. It is about control. When someone hates you deeply but doesn't want to reveal it openly, they use social exclusion as a tool. By cutting you out of conversations, they attempt to shrink your presence, making you doubt your worth, your voice, and your place in Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, would describe this as the vanity of others, because only an insecure mind believes that ignoring someone gives them power. A wise person understands that silence loses its strength the moment you stop craving attention. Imagine a familiar situation. You're at work. During a team discussion, everyone is talking, sharing ideas, joking freely. The person sitting next to you, who clearly has an issue with you, speaks to everyone but deliberately skips over you. You ask a question, and they pretend not to hear. You offer an idea, and they act as if it was never spoken. Minutes later, someone else repeats your exact thought, and suddenly they nod in agreement. That is not coincidence. That is selective exclusion. It's their way of cutting your voice out of the social circle, hoping it will weaken you. But a Stoic does not beg to be included. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to be loved, love yourself." Meaning, when others withdraw their attention, it should not disturb your inner peace. Their silence should not echo inside you unless you allow it to. When you truly know your value, you stop chasing recognition from those too blinded by resentment to give it. The psychology behind this kind of hatred is revealing. People who hate you but avoid speaking to you are often torn between two emotions, envy and fear. They envy your confidence, your calm, your authenticity, and they fear that speaking to you might expose their own insecurity. Your composure becomes a threat. Your presence acts like a mirror, reflecting their lack of self-control. Instead of facing that discomfort, they create artificial distance, believing that silence makes them superior. But in reality, avoidance is not strength. It is escape. And you'll notice something else. They are not silent with everyone. When you are around, they speak louder, smile wider, and connect more enthusiastically with others, just to make sure you see it. That is not natural warmth. It is performance. A performance rooted in insecurity. It's performative cruelty. They want you to feel the exclusion. That's the part most people don't realize. Hatred doesn't always attack head-on. Sometimes it tries to erase you socially. No insults, no confrontation, just silence, gestures, and carefully chosen absence. A form of psychological warfare that doesn't need words to wound. And that's what makes it so effective. It leaves you questioning yourself. Did I do something wrong? Did I deserve this? The mind starts searching for faults that were never there. But the Stoic response is clarity. You remind yourself, this is not about me. This is a reflection of their inner disorder. A person who is at peace with themselves doesn't need to exclude others. They don't need to punish with silence. They can speak with calm dignity even to those they disagree with. So when someone refuses to speak to you, they reveal everything you need to know. Not about your worth, but about the chaos they're carrying inside. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not what others say or do that troubles you, but your judgment of their actions," meaning, when they ignore you, it only hurts if you decide it does. When you see it through wisdom, their silence loses its sting. It hits your calm and falls flat. So the next time someone deliberately talks to everyone except you, don't shrink. Don't question your voice. Don't chase validation. Observe them with quiet understanding. Smile inwardly, because now you see the truth. Their silence is not peace. It's noise disguised as control. Real hatred doesn't always shout. It doesn't always gossip. Sometimes it whispers through silence. But the Stoic does not chase noise. They master stillness. And the greatest form of power is this: when someone chooses to ignore you, and you genuinely don't care. 8. They smile while harming you. This may be the most deceptive sign of all, and therefore the most dangerous. When someone smiles while harming you, you're no longer dealing with ordinary anger. You're facing a calm, calculated form of hatred, one that hides behind charm, courtesy, and politeness. Anger wants to destroy you quickly. Hatred, disguised as kindness, wants to destroy you quietly. And that's what makes it terrifying. These are the people who act friendly in public. They praise you in front of others. They pretend to support you, offering warm words and reassuring smiles. But behind closed doors, they twist the knife. They sabotage your reputation. They manipulate your words. They subtly chip away at your confidence, all while keeping that perfect, harmless expression. The smile is their camouflage. It helps them appear trustworthy, gentle, even caring, while every move they make is carefully designed to weaken you. Imagine this. You work with someone who always greets you warmly. They tell you you're doing great work, smiling in a way that feels sincere. Then you discover they've been spreading quiet rumors about you. Nothing obvious, nothing direct, just enough to plant doubt in other people's minds. When confronted, they laugh it off. "Oh, come on. You know I'd never do that," said with a smile. That's not misunderstanding. That's manipulation. That's hatred wearing perfume. And here's the most dangerous part. Because they're smiling, you start to doubt yourself. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe they were just joking. That confusion is exactly what they want. They want you hesitant, uncertain, distrustful of your own intuition. In Stoic philosophy, this kind of behavior reflects a corruption of the soul. A person who has lost alignment between their inner thoughts and their outward actions. And when that alignment is gone, kindness becomes a weapon, and smiles become masks. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." And hatred hidden behind politeness is much the same. It is not goodwill at all, but cowardice that refuses to reveal itself honestly. Those who smile at you while harboring ill intent lack the courage to confront you directly. Instead, they choose psychological games. They harm through kindness, because open hostility would expose their weakness. So they hide behind the illusion of goodwill, and that is what makes them twice as dangerous. The human brain is naturally wired to trust warmth. We lower our defenses when faced with friendliness and soft words. That is why you must learn to read energy, not just listen to language. The Stoics would say, observe behavior over time. A person's true character always leaks through patterns. Sooner or later, someone who genuinely supports you wants to see you grow, even if your growth threatens their ego. But someone who hates you behaves differently. They always mix praise with poison. A compliment followed by a doubt. A smile followed by a subtle jab. They may say things like, "You're really improving. I didn't think you had it in you." Or, "I like your new project, but don't you think it's a bit too ambitious?" Or even, "You've changed a lot, hopefully for the better." Each sentence sounds harmless, even polite. Yet beneath every phrase lies a psychological needle, carefully designed to puncture your confidence without leaving visible wounds. This is why Stoicism emphasizes emotional discipline, not only in how you act, but in how you perceive. When someone smiles while hurting you, your instinct is to react to expose them, to raise your voice, to prove that you're right. But a Stoic does not need to do that. A Stoic simply sees the truth and remains unmoved. Because once you recognize the pattern, once you see the venom beneath the smile, their power dissolves. You stop taking their words personally. You stop being surprised by their behavior. You begin to understand that every fake compliment, every sweet remark, every smile while they twist the knife is, in fact, a confession of inner weakness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is not to become like them." So when you encounter these smiling enemies, do not lower yourself to their level. Do not play their game. Do not let bitterness distort your peace. Step back, observe, remain kind but distant, because here lies the ultimate irony. Their smile is a mask they wear because they cannot tolerate your authenticity, your calmness, your strength, your quiet self-control. It reminds them of everything they lack. Their smile hides envy. Their politeness conceals fear. And when you remain grounded, refusing to mirror their deceit, you expose their truth without ever saying a word. Remember this, not every smile is friendly, not every kind word is sincere, and not every ally is truly on your side. But when you live by Stoic principles, self-control, awareness, and calm detachment, no false smile can deceive you for long. Hatred, when disguised as kindness, always betrays itself in the end. And when it does, your peace will become the loudest silence they have ever heard. Number 9, they try to turn others against you. There is something more dangerous than being hated, and that is being hated silently. When someone truly despises you, they rarely confront you directly. They do not shout. They do not argue. They do not face you head. Instead, they begin something far more destructive. They operate behind the scenes, quietly turning others against you. Hatred is like smoke. It slips through unseen cracks until it fills the entire room. And those who harbor it are often too afraid to face you themselves, so they spread it to others instead. They whisper, distort, and manipulate stories until even those closest to you begin to question who you really are. It is painful because it doesn't attack your body. It attacks your reputation. This is psychological warfare at its most refined. When someone truly hates you, they don't want to see you isolated because of something you did wrong. They want to see you isolated because of who you are. They cannot tolerate the fact that others like you, respect you, or trust you, because that admiration highlights everything they lack. And so, they begin a quiet campaign. It starts subtly, almost invisibly. They don't accuse you directly. Instead, they reshape how people think about you, one sentence at a time. You may hear things like, "Don't you think they've changed lately?" Or, I like them, but something feels off." Or, the most dangerous line of all, "I'm not trying to gossip, I just think you should be careful." These words are poison disguised as concern. They sound harmless, even caring, but they are carefully engineered to plant doubt, to make others hesitate before trusting you, to pause before defending you. This kind of manipulation rarely begins loudly. It begins small, a single rumor, a private conversation, a seed of distrust planted in the mind. But hatred doesn't stop once it begins. It feeds on momentum. The more people they convince, the more powerful they feel. And once others start repeating the story, adding details, exaggerating emotions, that small spark turns into a wildfire. The Stoics understood this long before gossip had microphones and algorithms. Marcus Aurelius once warned, "If it is not right, do not do it." If it is not true, do not say it. But people driven by hatred don't live by truth. They live by emotional projection. They need others to feel the same bitterness they carry inside. Imagine this scenario. You've been working hard at your job. You arrive early. You help your team. You stay consistent. Eventually, you receive recognition, maybe even a promotion. Instead of congratulating you, someone quietly suggests they're just trying to impress the boss, or they must have connections. Your success is reframed as manipulation. Your effort becomes suspicious. Soon, co-workers begin to keep their distance. Not because you changed, but because doubt has been planted. You did nothing wrong. Yet hatred never needs a reason. It only needs a target. This form of social sabotage is designed to destroy your peace. You begin to overthink. You question your worth. You wonder what people are saying when you leave the room. That inner unrest is exactly what your haters want. They want you anxious, defensive, shrinking under the weight of isolation. This is where Stoicism becomes your armor. Epictetus taught that no one is free who is not master of himself. You cannot control rumors, but you can control your response. The moment you start explaining yourself to everyone, you surrender your power. Truth does not need panic. Truth needs patience. When you remain calm, consistent, and grounded, lies eventually collapse under their own weight. People start to notice patterns. They realize the same person always has a new target. They see that drama follows them wherever they go. Slowly, quietly, their credibility rots. Hatred may win a few short battles, but it always loses the war. Lies require constant maintenance. Truth stands effortlessly. You may feel tempted to expose them, to gather evidence, to fight back publicly. But a Stoic response is not revenge. It is restraint. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When they lie, you tell the truth. When they gossip, you remain silent. When they operate in shadows, you walk in the open. That is how you win. Not by shouting, but by outlasting. And here is the final irony. Those who try to turn others against you eventually turn everyone against themselves. Because once they finish with you, they will need a new target. And the cycle never ends. Hatred doesn't just damage others. In the process, it destroys relationships, erodes trust, and corrodes the hater's own integrity. Long before it ever touches you, it consumes them from the inside. So when you notice someone subtly twisting your image, reshaping how others see you, don't panic. Don't chase rumors. Don't rush to defend yourself. Just observe. Continue living with honesty, kindness, and composure. Over time, people always see who is real and who is rotten. Hatred survives on reaction. It withers in silence. That's why your calm becomes their greatest frustration. When they see you unbothered, still growing, still smiling, still respected, their entire effort begins to collapse. Because the truth possesses something hatred never will: endurance. So when others attempt to turn the world against you, remember this. They can manipulate words, but they cannot touch your essence. Stay rooted in integrity. Let your life speak louder than their lies. And eventually, the truth will do what hatred never can. It will last. Hatred is not always loud. It doesn't always announce itself through shouting or open conflict. Sometimes it wears a smile. Sometimes it hides behind politeness. Sometimes it speaks through people who pretend to care. But this quiet form of hatred is far more dangerous than anger. Anger burns hot and then fades. Hatred lingers. It plans, it observes. It waits patiently for the moment to strike where it hurts most: your peace, your reputation, your sense of self. The Stoics understood this well. They believed hatred is never a reflection of you, but of the one who carries it. Epictetus once said, "When someone does wrong, remember they act according to what they believe is right." Hatred works the same way. It is confusion, envy, and unresolved pain disguised as superiority. People often hate what reminds them of their own unhealed wounds. Your calm unsettles the restless. Your confidence exposes the insecure. Your light irritates those still lost in darkness. But here is the truth most people miss. Hatred cannot survive without your reaction. The moment you fight it, try to explain it, or attempt to make sense of it, you feed it. You give it energy. The Stoic path is not to mirror darkness, but to rise above it through discipline and inner peace. That is the essence of Stoic strength. Emotional control in the face of quiet cruelty. You don't need to correct every rumor, confront every liar, or expose every betrayal. Let time do its quiet work. Truth does not need your defense. It needs your patience. Those who operate in hatred eventually reveal themselves through their own words and actions. And when they do, your silence will be the loudest response of all. If you wish to live a Stoic life, remember this: your calm is your fortress. Every hateful act loses its power the moment you refuse to react. Your peace is not na vit. It is mastery. It is knowing that not every battle deserves your sword. Some are won through stillness alone. And if you ever find yourself surrounded by hate, remain kind, but stay sharp. Do not allow bitterness to turn you into what you despise. Protect your peace as a warrior protects his armor. Because the moment hatred reshapes you, it wins. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is not to be like the wrongdoer." So do not let hate rewrite your character. Keep walking your path. Keep speaking your truth. Keep your heart clean. That is how you rise above. Not by proving anyone wrong, but by refusing to become them. And before we close, if you ever feel overwhelmed by negativity or struggle to stay centered through it all, I've created a small Patreon community where I personally guide people through Stoic practices. One-on-one text-based mentorship, and private teachings on emotional mastery and inner peace. It's a quiet space for those who want to grow without noise and build strength that no hatred can touch. You can join through the link in the description or pinned comment and begin your own path toward.com. Stoic resilience. Because in a world full of noise, hatred, and chaos, peace is rebellion. And mastering yourself is the greatest victory.